I found it really interesting to watch sort of her interaction with Tyler Perry on the red carpet because he seemed, I wouldn't say super engaged with her, super excited to interact with her. Once they had taken their pictures, he was like, I want to go over here. And I think they were just moving to take additional pictures at a different angle. Associating with Harry and Meghan tends to bring negative attention, negative impacts on you because you're associated with them and they have a huge negative public reputation. And whether or not you're attached to that, once you're with them, that negative attention the two of them have tends to follow you.
The tides are turning fast for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And now, someone who was once in their corner may become their most dangerous opponent, Tyler Perry. Once hailed as a lifeline for the Sussexes during their royal fallout, Tyler Perry famously offered them his home, his security, and his full-throated public support. He was even named godfather to their daughter Lilibet, cementing what appeared to be an unshakable bond. But behind the scenes, that once close alliance may now be cracking, and it could bring everything crashing down. Reports of a lawsuit involving Perry, with whispers of financial and contractual tensions, have sparked questions about what really went on between Perry and the royal couple. What's raising even more eyebrows? Harry and Meghan's complete and calculated silence. No public statements, no legal rebuttals, not even the usual PR spin. And here's where it gets even more unsettling. Sources close to the situation suggest that Tyler Perry may possess receipts. We're talking about emails, recordings, documents, and texts that don't align with the version of events Meghan and Harry have shared publicly. Is this a calculated move from Perry? A betrayal? Or just the beginning of a much larger fallout? Guys, grab your seats because this tea I am about to spill will leave you floored.
Ladies and gentlemen, Harry has found out that there's no such thing as a free meal, nor a free ride, nor a free stay when it comes to Hollywood. And that his friendship with Tyler Perry is way more costly than he anticipated.
Now, Tyler Perry was once the ultimate lifeline for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle now. He could be the spark that ignites the collapse of their carefully crafted public image. When Harry and Meghan made their dramatic exit from royal life, they painted a picture of exile, betrayal, and isolation. But stepping into the frame like a Hollywood savior was Tyler Perry, opening the gates of his private Los Angeles mansion and providing not only a luxurious roof over their heads, but also security, privacy, and emotional refuge. The Sussexes publicly praised Perry for his support during what they called one of the darkest times in their lives. He was a guardian angel, a protector who shielded them from the chaos of the press and royal pressures. But now, the narrative is shifting, and fast. Perry is currently entangled in a staggering $260 million lawsuit over alleged workplace misconduct within his studios, and this scandal could have ripple effects that reach straight into the heart of the Sussexes' inner circle. Why? Because the lawsuit isn't just about Perry's business, it's about who knew what, who looked the other way, and what private communications could be dragged into the spotlight. And Harry and Meghan, they've gone completely silent. Their silence is growing louder by the day, especially as sources claim that Perry may be sitting on sensitive communications and unreleased recordings from their time under his roof. Emails, voice notes, private strategy talks. It's all potentially part of the legal fallout. If Perry is pressured to testify or turn over documentation, he could accidentally or intentionally blow open the Sussexes' private dealings and behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Remember, Perry wasn't just their host. He was in the room for decisions about royal titles, US press appearances, Netflix meetings, and even family grievances. If the lawsuit drags his reputation through the mud, there's every chance that Harry and Meghan's name could be pulled in as collateral damage or worse, as complicit players in a broader game of image management and misdirection. The stakes are enormous. Perry is fighting for his empire. Harry and Meghan are fighting for their legacy. And if their guardian angel becomes a liability, the Sussex fairy tale might be one headline away from a full-blown reckoning. You see, back when the world was still reeling from Harry and Meghan's explosive Oprah interview, Tyler Perry was the lone A-lister who stood firmly in their corner. He didn't just lend support, he gave them his home, his security detail, and a safe space far from the relentless glare of the British press. His loyalty was so unwavering that Meghan and Harry gave him the symbolic role of godfather to their daughter, Lilibet Diana. But now, cracks are forming and they're widening fast. While the Sussexes celebrated Perry as a savior in their Netflix docuseries, one detail was never quite clear. There was no official christening or royal acknowledgement of Perry's godfather status. The palace was silent, and the public barely saw any trace of this supposedly profound relationship beyond the Sussexes' curated narrative. Fast forward to Perry's $260 million legal nightmare, and suddenly the once glowing connection has gone ice cold. Meghan's social media mentions of Perry gone, shared photos, deleted. Even subtle references from their camp have vanished without explanation, and this calculated silence is raising serious questions. According to legal insiders, there may be more at stake than just a PR fallout. Speculation is swirling about a private clause in a confidentiality agreement between Perry and the Sussexes, a clause that reportedly restricts him from speaking out unless he is publicly cut off or disavowed. And guess what? That silent erasure might have triggered it. If that clause exists and has been breached by Meghan's sudden distancing, Tyler Perry may now be legally free to speak and share everything. Behind-the-scenes drama, financial arrangements, internal strategy sessions, private conversations about the royal family, it could all be on the table. For a couple who have built their brand around truth and transparency, this is a nightmare scenario because Perry wasn't just a friend, he was a vault of their secrets during their most vulnerable and arguably most strategic period. And if that vault opens, the Sussexes' empire, already shaken by criticism and collapsing media deals, might not survive the aftershock. What started as a sanctuary may now turn into a spotlight. Now, if Tyler Perry decides to break his silence, it could mark the beginning of the end for the Sussexes' tightly controlled narrative. Sources close to Perry claim he documented the inner workings of Harry and Meghan's transition from royals to global media figures, offering a rare and potentially devastating look behind the curtain. And what's on the line? Their entire brand. For years, Harry and Meghan have positioned themselves as victims of palace cruelty, champions of mental health, and fierce advocates for truth. Their narrative, starting with that bombshell Oprah interview, was one of raw honesty and emotional liberation. But if Perry's alleged documentation reveals that this was less about survival and more about strategic brand building, it could shatter public trust. Let's not forget, Harry once said, "Silence is betrayal." And yet, in the face of Perry's legal scandal and their own sudden vanishing act from his orbit, the Sussexes have remained eerily quiet. No support, no denial, no comment, just a digital erasure of their once close ally. That silence isn't just noticeable, it's deafening, and it's prompting a growing number of critics and former supporters to ask, what are they hiding? If Perry feels betrayed or legally free to speak due to a possible breach in their agreement, and if he chooses to release even a fraction of what he's allegedly holding, it could undermine everything the Sussexes have claimed about their departure from royal life, their struggles, and their truth. What was framed as a personal journey could be exposed as a corporate style. campaign complete with media manipulation, targeted narratives, and behind-the-scenes deal-making. Guys, the Sussex brand is teetering on the edge, and social media is already bracing for the fallout. Hashtags like Tyler Knows All and Lily at Truth have exploded across X and TikTok as former fans, royal watchers, and even one-time defenders begin to re-examine everything Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have told us. From past interviews to carefully curated Netflix moments, the digital magnifying glass is out and no part of their narrative is safe. The vibe online? Betrayal. Supporters who once rallied behind Meghan's tearful revelations and Harry's emotional confessions are now asking, were we manipulated? And as the storm brews, Meghan's signature image control strategy, lifestyle blog posts, glossy photos, and motivational quotes has started to fall flat. Instead of inspiring admiration, each new post is met with skepticism, mockery, and demands for answers. The public isn't buying the curated aesthetic anymore, they want the truth. And that truth, it might be in Tyler Perry's hands. Sources say Perry's alleged recordings and messages could directly contradict the Sussexes' Netflix content, throwing into question the authenticity of the very scenes and narratives they've sold to streaming giants and the world. If Perry's evidence points to exaggerations, omissions, or outright manipulation, we're no longer just in PR crisis territory. We're talking serious legal jeopardy, breach of contract with media partners, defamation claims from those portrayed unfavorably, and possibly fraudulent misrepresentation, depending on what was said and sold. Major outlets are scrambling to secure interviews with Perry, who could become the whistleblower at the center of one of the biggest celebrity unravelings in recent memory. Meanwhile, Harry's quiet return to the UK with no press, no fanfare, has royal insiders buzzing. Is he consulting royal advisors, seeking legal protection, preparing for damage control? No one knows for sure, but the timing? Unmistakably strategic. Back in California, Meghan is reportedly in full crisis mode. But sources say even her seasoned PR team is overwhelmed. The Sussexes built their brand on being relatable victims of a cold monarchy. But if Perry speaks and those claims crumble, they'll be seen not as survivors, but architects of a fiction, and the public rarely forgives that. This moment could very well be the defining chapter in Harry and Meghan's post-royal saga. If Perry opens the vault, the fallout could be swift, ruthless, and permanent. The illusion is cracking. And the truth, it's coming whether they're ready or not. Anyways, what do you think about this drama? Let me know your opinions in the comments. And don't forget to check out our other stories for even more celeb tea. Till next time, bye.